There's a few interesting trains of thoughts, and it's sort of encompassing a few different questions. But because you've been in the scene and learning and teaching and traveling for so long and all around the world, what do you think's the biggest change that you've seen from how it used to be in the past? Because there was a congress that you sent me a picture of, which was 2001 or 2000 or something, a really, really long time ago in US. You were one of the first
2000.
artists to ever, 2000. So one of the first artists from Europe, UK, to ever go over to America and teach. Did you notice any big differences in how they're doing things over there compared to what you were seeing in Europe back then?
Currently or back then? Oh man, we when salsa started, I was very fortunate enough that from the very third festival organized in the world, I was part of. So the story goes like this. There was a festival happening in Puerto Rico from 1996. There was a annual. It was organized by Bacardi, and it was like it's a cultural thing in Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? So they had shows, blah blah blah. And
Hmm.
then LA Salsa Congress started it outside of Puerto Rico. So in 1998, Los Angeles Congress started. So what happened was they decided to do. It's called a reunion. So they did a Puerto Rico Los Angeles reunion in Toronto. That was the third festival ever outside of
Hmm.
Puerto Rico, Los Angeles. Toronto was the third one. And somebody in London said, "Oh, they have this dance festival in Toronto. Let's go to that." I'm like, well, "What is that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's a place where people come to dance." And I'm like, "Oh, really cool." And I was working in KFC at that time and studying at university. So I had no
Wow.
money to buy a plane ticket, visa, whatever. I couldn't do all that stuff. But anyway, I worked for like 4 months, collected money, got my plane ticket, got my visa, went to Canada. I went with 5 girls. So it was me and 5 girls because the
Hmm.
guys didn't want to go. And we all stayed in one room, 6 people in one room because we had no money. Okay. And everything was in one hotel. And so we went out there, and then the Thursday night was a pre-party, and they had all the teachers coming out and
Bonjour,
showing,
monsieur.
all their skills and stuff. And we were just like, wow, we've never seen any international artist. We did not know what an international artist was. So for
Because
the
back
first time,
then there wasn't like YouTube and Instagram and Facebook.
no, 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 nothing, nothing. The first time in my life I saw Eddie Torres doing his thing. First time in my life I saw Caribbean Soul, La Salsa Brava, Luis and Joby, and all these people. And my mind just, wow, was just blown out. I was like a little
Yeah.
kid in a candy shop, man, really. But the girls I went with, they were like, "Oh, this is too serious for us. The girls are too sexy. They're too nice. We can't dance really well." I'm like, "See you later, girls." So I stayed at the party, and I was just doing all my moves, my combinations, all that kind of stuff. And so that happened on Thursdays. Friday, we all went out, took classes. Saturday, we took classes. During the Saturday night party, the organizer comes up to me and he's like, "Oh man, everyone's talking about you. This big guy from London, I believe you're from the UK." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like, "Can you do me a favor?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "We have a slot for a class on Sunday where one of the teachers can't come from New York. Can you take over?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, don't worry. I'll pay you back your money, your flights, your hotel, everything. I'll give you back everything." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I went there. Back then, we only had 2 rooms: room A, room B. Okay, Torres, whatever. Da, da, da. We didn't know what the hell. So they put me in a room, room B, and I had like 600 people around me. The stage was in the center of the room. And I was
Jesus
shaking,
Christ.
shaking, 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 not because of the people, shaking because all the teachers that took classes with the weekends were standing and watching me. And I was like, "What the hell, man?" Then I was shaking. Susanna was my dance partner. She turned me around. She said, "Mario, just turn around. Don't watch them." So I
Yeah.
did my class. Right after the class, some people were there from Europe, and they were like, "Oh, what's your name? Where you come from?" "Oh, I'm from London. My name is blah, blah, blah." And they took my email address. I had to write it down. And then in 2001 was the first festival that happened in Europe. It was in Holland. And that lady who took my number called me. So then I started teaching in Holland, and it just
It
snowballed from
escalated
there.
from there.
It just became, and I was the only the artist who's become who I am without making a single show.
This is something that I found really interesting because
I don't
you're not
have
a
to prove
performer
anything to
or a
anybody.
competitor,
Okay, from the beginning, nothing.
and but there is one example in your career where you have been on stage and danced.
See, back in the days, a long time ago, they used to have on Friday nights all the artists had to come on stage and do a demonstration, you know. I think it was mainly to show people that we were there, and secondly to show what we are here to teach, you know, whether it's on one or on two or whatever. So on Friday night, everybody had to do a little demonstration, you know, and that's what we were.
Mm-hmm.
It was not really a show, but it was a little demonstration. I've never done a show.
I'm referring to a scenario where you were asked if you could just do like a Suzy Q and maybe a basic step on stage. I think it was in.
It was a boot camp.
But I heard from people that seen it. They said they've been watching shows for as long as they've been dancing. They said the audience for that particular show was the wildest they've ever seen an audience go, and all you did because they f***ed with you though, right? Like they said, oh no, it's really simple. They really downplayed what you had to do. They said, oh Mario, it's really basic. Like just do a basic step, a side basic, a Suzy Q. Like everyone else is going to be doing it at the same time. So then you came out knowing, okay, I'm just going to do, you know, this one or two things. But then all the artists that were on stage with you at the same time got down like on their hands and knees. So you were the only one standing.
Bro, that was, look, even though it's funny, I just felt so. Like I was disrespecting my colleagues, you know. It's like, so it was a 50th anniversary of Zurich Salsa Festival, which happened like 3 or 4 years ago. And Francesco from Grupo Alafia decided to make a little tribute to the festival with all the artists. So there was Tropical Jam, Adolfo, Terry, everybody and his mother was there, you know. So they all came, did their thing, Euphoria, they did their drama, they all came, integrated with each other, whatever. And Francesco, Mario, just walk on the stage. You don't have to do anything. Anyway, so they all did the integration, then they all had a common footwork. So there was like 40 of them on stage, just doing a common piece of footwork. At some point, they all just sit down on they just go squat down. All I had to do was walk on stage. I just walked 8 steps here, 8 steps there. The fucking room went mental. And I thought that was stupid because, you know, it's like all these people have just been dancing. I just walked and I did a Suzy Q and that's it. The song
they all lost it.
Man, this. Oh, Tamba was there. Hi, Tamba. So for me, it was like, you know, I don't like being on stage. I really don't like the spotlight. I really don't, because I love watching shows. I love supporting all my friends. I love supporting all the artists. I stand there. I scream for them. I make all the noise. Everybody who knows me know that I'm always in the front. But it's not for me, you know, it's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. But give me a microphone, put me in the center of New York and make people do a basic step. No problem. I can do that. But
yeah, you have no problem. You have no problem getting everyone involved. That's definitely for sure.
Not my thing at all.
One thing that London has that I'm super jealous about is that you guys have Bar Salsa. So for those of you that don't know or haven't been to London before, Bar Salsa is a venue in Salsa. It's like a 3-story, like massive joint, and in like the lowest level, the basement is where like the DJ booth and the restaurant and the bar is, and that place has guest artists and teachers coming in every night of the week. So Mario teaches there on a Monday night, and for those of you that go there on a Thursday, Fatty K teaches there on a Thursday night. I was teaching there a little bit for Fatty when I was there, but you guys have this venue dedicated to dance, and I don't know anywhere in the world that has a dedicated salsa venue 7 days a week.
Look, I always tell people, Bar Salsa makes London, you know. It's I don't care how good you become. Everybody's been through there. Susanna has been through there. Leon Rose has been through there. Fadi has been through there. Sam Slick, Mo Flex. Everybody has been through Bar Salsa. It's our temple, you know. And it's like people complain about it now. They bitch about it, but everybody's been through it. Birjan's been through it there too. Nav's been there. It's, you know. It's what I'm all about. I always tell people I love my Monday nights. You know, I love coming to Bar Salsa because I've just finished a festival where everybody has just been so serious, you know, like serious learning, serious dancing, serious shows, serious. And then I come to Bar Salsa and I see people who cannot dance, who want to learn how to dance, who cannot do nothing about dance.